Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Today, I'm super excited. We have Dayna Morgan. She is the COO and innovation designer of BRITT RADIUS. Welcome, Dayna.
Thanks, Adam.
I'm super excited to have you here, but first, tell us about BRITT RADIUS and all that's going on in your world.
Great. Yeah. BRITT Radius is a ridiculously talented consulting services firm. We help our clients gain access to land and work with people, work with stakeholders, communities, Indigenous communities who might be impacted by a project. So a lot of the work that we do is in the energy sector. We work in power and utilities, natural resources, and we have been established in Western Canada for over 35 years and recently expanded into the United States as well as in Ontario. So we've got coverage throughout North America, which has been an exciting growth opportunity for us this past year.
That is amazing. And I know that you rebranded last year from BRITT Land to BRITT RADIUS, and I love the meaning behind it. So do you want to tell us a little bit about BRITT RADIUS and what that means?
Sure. Yeah. So we have been known as BRITT Land and Engagement previously, and so we kept our BRITT part of our name for that brand recognition throughout the industries that we work. But we decided to go with a word that didn't actually describe what we do. You know, when you hear the word radius, you're wondering what that actually is. Um, we moved away from a traditional name because we felt like the work that we were doing and started to do um, expanded beyond really a transactional approach. We help clients gain access to land for their projects, and we've always done that. And with that, we deal with regulatory compliance, we deal with working with communities, with Indigenous communities. So the idea of radius is really that circle of influence and circle of impact that not only a project can have, but people can have, and we hope that our clients have, a larger positive impact on communities when working with us.
I love that. And you're dealing with not just your own team, which, as you said, is ridiculously talented, but you're engaging the Indigenous groups, the communities, the landowners, and sometimes it can be about regarding sensitive topics. So, what does engagement mean to you?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think we're probably in a unique space because of the work we do. As you mentioned, we're working with people both who we work with, work for, and interact with. So engagement for us, and I'll talk more in terms about the work that we do for our clients in that space, is really how you build relationship and build trust with stakeholders who might be impacted by a project. And this is definitely an art, not a science, when you're working with people and understanding, values and interests, biases, all of those pieces. So in the work that we do on behalf of our clients, engagement is really about getting to the core of values and issues and interests, and from there, learning how we can build trust with a stakeholder, with a community. And so, there's a lot of tactics around that and approaches that we use in the work that we do. But it's about being human. It's about not necessarily putting on a certain mask and a certain interaction. And I think we've had success over the years because of that, moving away from a transactional approach. And I think, we carry that over into our business as well and working with our teams. It's not about the stuff that we do, it's how we interact as a community of people who work together, who have shared values, who have each other's back. So it's not so different, engaging with our team versus engaging with external stakeholders.
I love that. Just really being more human and connected. And, I've heard stories of how much fun you guys have at BRITT RADIUS, and it sounds like you really go the extra mile for your team and for the people that you interact with. But it's not always easy. So are there any specific challenges or hurdles that you've had to deal with or that come to mind that you'd care to share?
Sure. And I think it's probably similar to what a lot of organizations are going through and have gone through the last few years with changes to your working model, and we moved to a hybrid working model over the last few years. And um, we were excited to do that and actually had intended to do that even before the pandemic forced us to, because we wanted to give more flexibility for our team and to be able to work, in an environment that worked for them, have some flexibility to deal with life and family. Um, so we really like that model and have moved towards that. And I think, there's a period where you go through the logistical pieces of that, and how do you set things up and how do we communicate with each other. And um, now I think the biggest challenge is really around honoring our culture, now that we're in this new environment. And I think what I'm starting to see is that working remotely, there's some amazing technology that helps and supports that, and it also can put up some barriers and just some, not only physical distance, but it can create some maybe emotional connection, or that those types of barriers. So I think that's our biggest challenge right now, is really understanding, what needs to maybe tweak or change within our culture framework, and also just making sure we're still having those real human interactions, as I talked about before. And, having a conversation over Teams or Zoom allows for that to a certain extent. But making sure that those conversations are really fulsome and deep, so the team is feeling connected, and that level of trust and relationship is there. So it's not easy, but
Right?
yeah.
I think no one would argue that the tools aren't there to communicate and connect, but there's no subscribed recipe. It's very gut feel. Like our team is remote as well, and some days I'm just like, I'm not quite feeling connected. I should pick the phone, or I should do something, or I should create some kind of, I don't know, event, or I don't know, I should do something with the specific purpose of connecting, not necessarily jumping into the whirlwind of work and talking about work. Like,
Yeah.
try and do that specifically.
Yeah.
Um,
For sure. Well, and I think, what a philosophy that we have at BRITT Radius is every interaction either builds up our culture or tears it down. There's no neutral. So anything that we're doing, it might just seem like a quick Teams meeting or a quick email, but every interaction we're having, through technology or not, is building up that culture or tearing it down. So that's something that we, need to remember as leaders in our organization, and how to move forward in an impactful manner that way.
ooh, I like that. It's like goosebumps. Like you're either building up or tearing down, right?
Yeah. No
Okay,
neutral. Yeah.
I'm gonna use that. I like that. So you're got the hybrid workforce happening, and you guys were doing it before. It was cool, sounds like. And now looking forward into the coming year with new challenges and new opportunities. Kind of what plans or ideas do you have to keep your team engaged, to keep the community engaged, to continue to build up instead of tear down?
Yeah. I think there's a few things that we're going to do at an organizational level. But I can share with you too some things just for me personally, as a leader, that I'm going to be focusing on. And what I have found in this hybrid model or remote working model with technology being there is, it's really easy to be in your own world and just only have, moments of connection over a call or a virtual meeting. And I think sometimes you can feel lonely in that. I know I have, and I need to remember that the team might feel that as well. So, again, just, looking for ways to connect with people, to have some conversations, make sure they feel supported um, from the leadership team, and, having some fun. You had mentioned that briefly at the start of our call, that when we were in the office together, that was something that was really important. We wanted to um, you know, play practical jokes. We'd have fun together. We'd celebrate together, and when we're physically together. So finding ways to have fun in a remote environment, and whether that is meaning, just planning to get together and doing it in person, or ways to do it online. Um, Keeping things light and joyful, because work can be hard. It can be stressful, especially, ebbs and flows of our work days. So finding moments of fun together, being able to laugh is super important.
Somebody told me once, if you want to gauge the culture of a company, walk through the hallways and listen. And if you hear laughter, then you know that it's a good place to work. And I always try to remember that when I walk through offices now. I'm always like listening. It's kind of an interesting litmus test.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
But that is fantastic. So you're either building up or you're tearing down, and make sure you find moments for connection and have fun. I love it. Thanks so much for your time, Dayna. I really appreciate it. And have an amazing year. It sounds like you guys are going to do some amazing things.
Great. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.